All right, guys, so first off, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Gabriel. I've been traveling the country for the last 2 months in my RV and pulling it with my truck, an F-150. And I wanted to show you guys how I'm powering all of this, how I am working my day job, how I am powering this air fryer right now and making some chicken. So let's get into it. Actual methodology behind this is going to potentially get a little bit messy. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. It really isn't very difficult, if I'm being honest. There's really not a whole lot that you need. This right here, this is the little control panel for the inverter. An inverter basically just makes the outlets work. So it pulls power from your battery, which I have in the front compartment, and charge it and powers up the outlets. So I can power a computer monitor, computer, a TV, Starlink, which is also on the roof, my TV, this air fryer, and so on and so forth. And I have it's a 3,000 watt inverter, so I have about 3,000 watts. I never come anywhere near close to utilizing that. The thing that pulls the most here is probably the microwave, and even then it's like half of the actual power of what the inverter can handle. Fridge here, this fridge is currently being powered by the batteries. It is a 12-volt fridge. The microwave is powered by AC, so it has to use the inverter, which I just mentioned. I have this right here just as a backup. Since I'm working a day job, I want to make sure I always have redundancies when it comes to the internet, redundancies when it comes to power, just to be safe. This is a power station. This power station is about 1,200 watt hours. It's a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate from Anker. The ability to be charged from solar panels. It has the ability to be charged from AC, so from outlets, and it has the ability to be charged from my car. So I have a little 12-volt socket. I can put about 100 watts into this thing per hour. All right, so I'm getting ready to leave. As you can see, I have pretty much everything packed up, including my dirt bike. I will show you, I have another video on this that goes further into detail, but this is everything. It's the batteries. I have 2 of them. They're linked up in parallel. I have a solar charge controller that connects to the solar panels that puts power into the batteries. That's that inverter that I mentioned, 3,000 watts. On the other side, I have a converter, which basically, a converter is the opposite of an inverter. A converter is going to take power from AC and turn it into DC, which is what charges the batteries. So if I ever run a generator, or if I'm at a campsite or somewhere that has an outlet, I can plug in and charge up my batteries. So that's what the converter does. It's an 80 amp converter. The RV came with a 30 amp inverter, so in total that's about 110. But in reality, I end up getting less because running them together, the 80 amp converter tends to down regulate itself for some reason. As I mentioned, there is the need to charge the batteries sometimes, and for that I have this generator right here. So this generator has a 30 amp port, this 30 amp port right here. This can pull, it's advertised as 3,600 watts. That's false. I mean, it's a cheap Chinese knockoff, so I'm not too worried about it, but it's a 3,600 is actually the peak wattage, meaning if you're running like 2 microwaves and you turn them on, it'll peak to a certain point, but it can't handle that load consistently. The advertised range is 2,900 on gas, 2,600 on propane. And you can see here it has gas, but it also has the ability to just use propane tanks. So here I have the propane tanks, and I can just plug in a propane tank to this and power it as well. That's another option. On gas, it'll usually run, I want to say like 5 hours in total before it gets completely drained. Obviously, depending on how much stuff I'm connecting to it. On propane tanks can last a lot longer, like 15 or 16 hours. Yeah, that 30 amp port that I showed you, you come to this, and this port right here, which is a very long cable. So you plug that cable into here, and then turn on the breakers in the RV, and that charges the batteries. So again, charges about 1200 watts per hour, so not including solar. So 1200 watts per hour, plus another 400 that I'm getting from solar. I can pump about 1600 watts per hour to my battery. My batteries can handle roughly about 7,200 watt hours. So yeah, more than I need for a full work day most of the time. 7,200 hours or 7,200 watts. To kind of put into perspective, my Starlink pulls about 50 watts per hour. Starlink, I can probably get about 150 hours for the Starlink, so that's about a week, I think, something like that. My laptop doesn't use much power. Pulls probably like 60 to 80 watts per hour, and that's when it's charging. I can take it off the charger and actually extend that even further. So I'll just deplete the battery and then charge the battery back up as I'm using it. The TV uses like 20 watts. It's a very, very efficient TV, and it's only like 720p. So right now I'm in Utah. So this is southern Utah. And because of where I am, I don't really need to run the air conditioning. Right now it's like peak. It's like, well, it's a little past the peak, but at 12 in the afternoon, it's only like 80 degrees. And 80 degrees is not hot at all, especially with the strong winds that I get here. It's really comfortable, so I don't need to run the air conditioning, which is awesome. And because of that, my batteries can last a really long time. The only times that I really use up a lot of power is when I am editing mode. So if I'm editing a video, or if I decide, oh, I got a call from my mom. If I'm editing a video, or if I want to like do some gaming or something, I have a desktop PC here. So this desktop PC uses, when I'm like just surfing the web, it probably uses about 150 to 180 watts. That gets ramped up to about 300 and 350 watts when I'm gaming, or if I'm editing a video, specifically when I'm exporting. That's when the big power draw comes. But even then, that's 300 watts. That's not a lot. I can run 300 watts for, what, 20 something, almost 30 hours with no issues. A lot of these people that have these giant battery banks and these huge systems, if you have the money for it, great. But I spent on my system maybe, I think, 1,200 after I did the math. Maybe 1,600, including the generator. The generator was like another 400. But you can buy an even cheaper generator if you don't need all that extra power. And it's been a really weird shift for everything, not just for the power, but like water usage. Like, I've been very mindful of how much water I'm using when I'm showering. I'm kind of just doing a quick shower. I'm not really spending 30 minutes in the shower. And that's made me a lot more cognizant of how much stuff I'm using. And that's been a really big mental shift for me over the last 2 months. So yeah, that's how I draw the power, or how I produce power and am able to power my RV. Not super difficult. I have another video describing all the different components, like the auto transfer switch, the converter, inverter, the charge controller, all that sort of stuff. I have a video kind of describing all of that, and you can check that video out. I'll put a link to it in the description. If you guys have any questions, comment, let me know. Happy to help you guys with this stuff. There's a lot of wiring and a lot of crimping wires and making sure that things are done properly. That kind of adds up. So it's a simple but not easy, is what I like to say. So I'm probably going to be heading back within the next couple of weeks to South Florida. I have explored a lot of this. I have other areas that I want to see, like the Yosemite National Park out west towards California and stuff. I am hesitant to go out to that area just because I have other priorities right now, and I'm gonna be doing this trip again in the future. So I'm going to leave that for next time, most likely. I left a little bit too late. I left at the beginning of August. I should have really left like around June if I really wanted to take full advantage. I'm really wanting to leave so I don't get caught up in any snow or any risk of anything like that. As driving with an RV in the snow is not a fun time. I mean, I have four-wheel drive, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's still, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So thank you guys for watching. My name's Gabriel again. Feel free to subscribe if you guys want to watch more of my journey and stuff.